As a result of the wildcard round, the 6 top scorers were selected, and so they will now compete against each other for the final spot available in the semi-finals for Whiz Kids 2023. Unlike the traditional way we've been doing things, we won't be giving you 40 questions for this episode or for this round. We will be giving you 20 questions, but the normal rules apply. First category, let's start with social studies, please. Caracas is located on the continent of, that's number 2.
South America.
That is correct. Go ahead and select your next category, please.
Mathematics.
The name of the polygon that has 15 sides is, contestant number 1.
Pentadecagon.
That is correct. Go ahead and select your next category, please.
English.
What is the correct form of the verb to complete the following sentence? Dairy something the name of the village where my school can be found. That's number 2.
Is.
That is correct. Go ahead and select your next category, please.
Science.
The stomata in the leaves allows something in and something out. That's number 3.
The stomata in the leaves allow carbon dioxide in and oxygen out.
That is correct. Go ahead and select your next category, please.
Mathematics.
When 17 over 20 is changed to a percentage, the result is?
75.
Contestant number 3.
80%.
That is incorrect. The correct answer would have been 85%. All right, let's proceed with English, please. Choose the tense of the underlined verb in the sentence. The tired laborer slept soundly under the tree. That's number 2.
Past tense.
That is correct. Go ahead and select your next category, please.
Mathematics.
What is 560 written in Roman numerals? That's number 3.
560 written in Roman numerals is MLX.
I'm sorry, that is incorrect. It will be DLX. All right, let's proceed to science, please. True or false? Force is a vector quantity that has direction and magnitude. That's number 2.
False.
That is incorrect. It would have been true. Let's proceed to social studies, please. Where do most Guyanese migrate? That's number 2.
Into the United States of America.
That is correct. Go ahead and select your next category, please.
Science.
Snow, sleet, hail, and rain are all examples of. That's number 3.
Precipitation.
That is correct. Go ahead and select your next category, please.
Maths.
If x equal even numbers less than 16 and y equal multiples of 3 less than 20, then x intersect y is the set. That's number 3.
X intersect y is 6, 12, 6 and 12.
That is correct. Go ahead and select your next category, please.
Stay in maths.
This is the last question for the math segment. The sum of any 3 angles of a rectangle is something degrees. That's number 2.
270 degrees.
That is correct. Go ahead and select your next category, please. Remember, we've exhausted mathematics.
Science.
The green pigment in leaves that help them to carry out photosynthesis is called? That's number 2.
Chlorophyll.
That is correct. Go ahead and select your next category, please.
Science.
The feeding series in which a kiskadee eats a grasshopper that ate a grass plant is called that's number 1.
A food chain.
That is correct. Go ahead and select your next category. Remember, we've exhausted mathematics and science.
Social studies.
The founding members of CARICOM are, that's number 1.
Founding members of CARICOM are Jamaica, Guyana, Barbados, and Trinidad and Tobago.
That is correct. Go ahead and select your next category, please.
Social studies.
Stabroek is to Dutch as Versailles is to, that's number 2.
French.
That is correct. Go ahead and select your next category, please.
Social studies.
Mexico is found on which continent? Contestant number 2.
Europe.
I'm sorry, that is incorrect. It would have been North America. Right, let's proceed to English, please. Choose a suitable adjective to complete the sentence. Of the two pumpkins, that one is. Contestant number 3.
That one is bigger.
That is correct. Go ahead and select your next category, please. Well, sorry, we only have English available. Next English question, please. What is the part of speech of the underlined word in the sentence? We divided the sweets among our 3 friends. Contestant number 2.
Preposition.
That is correct. And the last question for this segment. Identify the part of speech of the bracketed word in the following sentence. The teacher was known for the kindness she showed to her students. Contestant number 1.
A noun.
That is correct. Alright, based on the scores displayed, the winner of this segment is Demetrius Garraway. Congrats! Congrats, guys! Alright, are you ready for our next round? Let's get right into it. Let's start with science, please. What are invertebrates? Contestant number 1.
Invertebrates are animals that have no backbone.
That is correct. Go ahead and select your next category, please.
Stay in science.
What is the term used to identify the process by which rocks are slowly broken into smaller pieces? That's number 2.
The process is called weathering.
That is correct. Go ahead and select your next category, please.
Science.
What is the correct order of the primary phases of the moon? No one attempted to answer that. The correct answer would have been the new moon, first quarter, full moon, and last quarter. Alright, let's proceed to social studies, please. The main occupation in Bartica is. Contestant number 2.
Gold mining.
That is correct. So go ahead and select your next category, please.
Social studies.
True or false? Studying for exams is not a leisure time activity. Contestant number 2.
True.
That is correct. Go ahead and select your next category, please.
English.
Choose the function of the underlined word in the sentence. The dog barks to keep strangers away. Contestant number 1.
Verb.
That is correct. Go ahead and select your next category, please.
Mathematics.
John has stamps from different countries. 1/3 of them are stamps from India. If he has 36 Indian stamps, how many stamps does he have in total? Time's still going. You can go ahead, contestant number 3.
48.
Pardon me?
48.
I'm sorry, that is incorrect. We're asking for the total, so it would have been 108. Alright? Let's proceed to English, please. My feet ballooned with swelling is an example of. Go ahead, contestant number 2.
Interjection.
That is incorrect. It would have been a metaphor. Alright, let's proceed to science, please. True or false? A bicycle is a type of simple machine. Contestant number 3.
True.
That is incorrect. It would be false. A bicycle is a complex machine. Alright, let's proceed to social studies. List any 4 continents. Contestant number 2.
Europe, Asia, Africa, South America.
That is correct. Go ahead and select your next category, please.
Science.
This is the last question for the science category. How long does the moon take to orbit the Earth? That's number 1.
28 days.
That is correct. Go ahead and select your next category, please.
Mathematics.
What is the lowest common multiple of 12 and 96? That's number 1.
12.
I'm sorry, that is incorrect. It would be 96. Alright. Let's proceed to English, please. Choose the function of the underlined word in the sentence. The cherry on the tree is ripe. That's number 1.
Preposition.
That is correct. Go ahead and select your next category, please.
English.
What is the plural of sheep? That's number 2.
Sheep.
That is correct. Go ahead and select your next category, please.
English.
What is the meaning of the underlined phrase? The old woman tried to make both ends meet. That's number 2.
To make it be sufficient, like to make both ends meet means to have enough for every day.
That is correct. She tried to live within her means. Alright? Alright. We've exhausted the English category as well as the science category. So let's choose your category, please.
So science.
Which crop influenced the coming of indentured immigrants to Guyana? That's number 1.
Sugar.
That is
Cane.
That is correct. Go ahead and select your next category, please.
Stay in social studies.
Which mineral is linked with the story of El Dorado? That's number 2.
Gold.
That is correct. Social studies has now been exhausted. We only have mathematics to go to. All right? How many degrees are there in a straight line? That's number 2.
180.
That is correct. When 75 is added to the LCM of 5 and 6, the result is... Contestant number 3, go ahead.
105.
That is correct. And for the final mathematics question, 90 minutes amount to something hours. That's number 2.
1 hour 30 minutes.
All right. So the correct answer would have been 1.5 hours or 1.5 hours. So based on the scores on screen, Sajid is the winner of this segment. All right, now we're down to the final 2 contestants from the top 6 scorers that came from the wildcard round. Let's see who will win this segment and move on to cop the last spot in the semi-finals for Whiz Kids 2023. Let's start with science, please. How many elements are there in the periodic table? That's number 1.
181.
I'm sorry, that is incorrect. It will be 118. Let's proceed to social studies, please. What was the main reason for the indentured immigrants being brought to British Guyana? That's number 1.
To replace the Africans.
That is correct. Go ahead and select your next category, please.
Social studies.
Which CARICOM state is closest to Guyana? That's number 2.
Suriname.
That is correct. Go ahead and select your next category, please.
Science.
An animal eats both plants and other animals. To which category of feeders should this animal be placed? That's number 1.
Omnivores.
That is correct. Go ahead and select your next category, please.
Science.
Name 2 materials that cannot conduct electricity. That's number 1.
Rubber and concrete.
That is correct. Go ahead and select your next category, please.
Science.
Which technique would best be used to separate soil and water? That's number 2.
Filtration.
That is correct. Go ahead and select your next category, please.
So science.
List the 4 founding members of CARICOM. Contestant number 2.
Leonard Fort Sampson Bonham, Mr. Errol Ball, Mr. Eric Williams, Leonard Forlan, let's repeat. Guyana, Trinidad and Tobago, Jamaica, and Barbados.
All right, so while that is correct now, we can only go with your first response. And that was incorrect, all right?
Yes.
Great. Let's proceed to the next category. Let's go to English, please. An exclamation mark is used in sentences to show contestant number 1.
Commands or orders.
That is correct. It can also be that it's there to show
Request.
expression or emotion. All right? Go ahead and select the next category.
English.
What is the most suitable meaning of the proverb, a rolling stone gathers no moss? That's number 1.
An example of this is people who change jobs frequently will never get rich.
That is correct. Go ahead and select the next category, please.
Science.
Surface tension allows some insects to walk on water. This is because the water particles. That's number 1.
The water particles are closely packed together.
That is correct. Go ahead and select the next category, please.
Social studies.
Charlie was not allowed to register at a certain school because of his religious beliefs. This is an example of, that's number 1.
Racism.
I'm sorry, that is incorrect. The correct answer would have been discrimination. Let's go to mathematics, please. 22/3 represents what type of fraction? That's number 2.
Improper.
That is correct. Go ahead and select your next category, please.
Temas.
If Andrew bought 2 kilograms of flour and gave his cousin 600 grams, how many grams of flour does he have remaining? Contestant number 1.
1,400 grams.
That is correct. Go ahead and select your next category, please.
Social studies.
The least populated natural region is there. Contestant number 2.
The Sanctuary region. I mean, Forest Highland region. I made a mistake.
You have to go with the first answer.
Yeah, we can only go with the first answer. All right? But the correct answer would have been the Forested Highland region. All right. Let's proceed to English, please. Choose a word that means the same as the underlined word in each sentence. The plane departed the Chedijagan International Airport this morning. That's number 2.
Left.
That is correct. Point to note, we've exhausted the science and social studies categories. Go ahead and select your next category, please.
English.
What is the most suitable synonym for the word hot? That's number 1.
Fiery.
That is correct. Go ahead and select your next category, please.
Mathematics.
Angles are measured in, that's number 1.
Degrees.
That is correct. Go ahead and select your next category, please.
Mathematics.
What is the common factor for both 30 and 45? All right. Contestant number 2.
15.
That is correct. Go ahead and select your next category, please.
Maths.
The perimeter of a circle is known as, contestant number 1.
22/7.
I'm sorry, that is incorrect. That would be the circumference. We're proceeding to the last question for this segment. Peter picked a peck of pickled peppers is an example of what rhetorical device? That's number 1.
Interjection.
I'm sorry, that is incorrect. It will be an alliteration. Based on the scores displayed above, the winner of this segment and the person that will be proceeding to the last spot in the semifinals is Demetrius Garraway. Congrats. Good job, Sajid. This brings us to the end of the 12th episode of Whiz Kids. We now have our final contestant who will cop the last spot for the semi-finals. Join us then to see who will proceed to the finals to compete for the title of Whiz Kids Champion 2023.